Close your eyes and imagine my beard. Do you remember being innocent or naive? I do. You might find that surprising. You might find that surprising given that I read Mad Magazine, which certainly wasn't the dirtiest thing out there, but it was PG. It was like right on the border. All the kids that I gave Mad Magazine to a couple of decades back, I asked permission from their parents. I was so excited that Mad was still around. I gave one kid a subscription and then Mad sent me a form and said, "You've already ruined one kid's life. Do you want to ruin the childhoods of some others?" And I was like, this is the exact kind of marketing ploy they would have used when I was a kid. Heck yeah. So I contacted people, including someone who was the 10-year-old daughter of 2 clergy. And her mother said, "I don't know, she thinks she's old enough for it." And I was like, yeah, you know what? She's like a double preacher's kid. Please let her have Mad Magazine, unless you want her to be selling dope and spray painting behind the 7-Eleven by the time she's 12. Turns out the first issue was Alfred E. Newman barfing. And my friend sent me a photo of her daughter holding the magazine proudly while Alfred E. Newman is retching. So I grew up in that climate, but I still had moments of utter shock. Like if I saw someone who had been on Sesame Street or Via Alegre playing, say, a hooker on Starsky and Hutch, this was very upsetting to me because they were representing something to me during the daytime. I didn't know they had a nighttime life. I didn't know they were really acting. I knew they were a performer, and I thought, shouldn't their contract say they can't upset the 9-year-old or 10-year-old? So I was this weirdo who knew that performers had contracts, but kind of didn't know that someone was going to play someone whose head gets slammed against a wall, they touch the top of her head and there's blood, and they realize they've killed her. I can't go back to watching her on Sesame Street after that. So when I found out what the Doobie Brothers were, I just thought it was like people singing Shooby-Dooby-Doo. Didn't know that it was about grass, about smoking grass. I didn't know it was about Mary Jane. I didn't know that shirt didn't have a Canadian maple leaf on it. I didn't know that. I knew dope existed. I could smell it. I could smell people smoking. Well, I did the same thing to someone else while discussing the band Pearl Jam and proposing what I thought the name came from, and I watched the person's face crash. And this was not someone who was particularly innocent or naive. I just shredded it, you know? Like Jackson Pollock, I just flung an entire container of paint on their pristine canvas and watched them realize that they'd just been doused with a bunch of Pearl Jam.